Hi guys, Ape here of the PocketBot Collective. And today we're gonna have a look at Ginrai, or as the Western world knows him, Powermaster Prime. And this is a cool little set by MakeToys. And this is my only MakeToys robot that I have, so I can't compare it to any of their other material. Straight off the bat, I have to say it's a fun set, but it's got some issues. Quality issues mainly. But we'll get into all of that later. We'll have a look at what he comes with. I'm going to do some quick comparisons right now at the beginning, I think, because this is going to get big. So, straight off the bat, let me pull in some other trucks for scale. Here he is with Core Class Prime. Here he is with Magic Square's Motormaster. And let me just get the little Ginrai figure out the way for a second. And here he is with my pretty knackered copy of G1 Prime. So, just so you know how this little truck cab scales in a Legend class collection, so to say. But there's quite a bit you get with this little truck and figure. And that's why I said we're going to get big. Let me get these guys out of the frame for a minute so we can continue. Alright, so cab and figure first. This here is Ginrai, or I think if you're looking at this from the Powermaster side, this is High Q, I think. And he's a cool little fella. Has a bit of articulation. The arms can swing up and are on tiny ball joints right there. Hips are on ball joints and bend at the knee. Everything else is static. But yeah, it's a cool little figure. And technically, of course, this is Ginrai. In Japanese media, this is the guy that controls all of what's to come. He bonds with the lifeless Transtector that is, I guess, Optimus, the Optimus mold. But this little guy bonds with him to power him because he is a Power Master, God Master in Japan. Let me just stand him there so we can have a quick look at the truck. I love what they did here behind the windows. It's really nicely done. It's a nice little truck, as you expect from an Optimus or Ginrai mold. But here you can see my first issue. I don't know if it's just my copy, but this will not... There's too much pressure behind it. See? The front of the cab keeps wanting to untab on my copy. It's okay on this side, but it keeps pushing out on the other side. I've actually had to use some WD-40 to loosen things up because I couldn't even get it this far when it came out the box. But yeah, it is what it is. I'm not keeping him in truck mode anyways, so it's not that big of a deal, but it's something to keep an eye out for. Wheels roll. We'll show off the gimmick in a minute. First, well, you know what? Let's put the gimmick in place right now. And then we'll show off what else he comes with. Because this little guy here, of course, sort of transforms. You put his hood up. Then you fold this around. Same for the other side. And then you have the little engine block. And this engine block can sit in here because it's spring loaded. So what you do, two little black tabs there, two little slots there, and you just push him in there. There we go. That is technically Ginrai. Well, Ginrai is the guy, and this is his Transtector. Or Powermaster Prime, if you must. So, let's have a look at what he comes with. And I'm gonna put this guy over here for a second, because I don't even know if I can get everything in frame. But I'll try my best. Here we go. Yeah, so there you have it. Everything this guy comes with. I think this is so far the biggest thing I've had on my review table. I'm gonna take some things out of the way quickly so we can have a proper look. Of course, there's instruction booklets, 3, no less. This is MakeToys Thunder Manus, MTCD03, which is Ginrai, his Transtector, his trailer, and the God Bomber drone. Have a nice little card with it. And on the back is Divine Shooter, because what they did after they released this set, like I said, God Bomber is a drone. It's a parts forming carriage, so to say, but they also brought out an actual transforming version of God Bomber, so you have him in robot mode as well. I don't have that. It costs pretty much the same as this full set, so I'm not too fussed about that. But there you go. And then, of course, the box. And yeah, I need to shift some bits and pieces here. Let me just pick up the camera and we'll have a look at it like this. There you go. Front of the box. It's part of their cross dimension line, which means you can use it in various scales, because of course we just saw that the little Ginrai figure, the cab, so to say, nicely fits in the Legend class realm. But you can see by all of this, we're gonna get much bigger, which means you can also use this figure in different scales. Let's put all of that to the side. Now, you can see that my trailer is lifted up a bit, because, and again, I don't know if that's just my copy, but I will show you guys. There's a little hitch there. There's a little, you call it? Knob there. God Bomber is attached here with this little piece, so let's just get that out for a second. There we go. It's a cool looking trailer, definitely. Doesn't tab in mega secure, but there we go. It holds, so to say. The wheels would roll freely, but you can see that this section is too low on mine. These hinges in here are supposed to... It's supposed to be like this and then hinge back. But the hinge in here, I cannot get it to move back for the life of me. I can get it to move forward, but back, not a chance. And this plastic, like I said, I have nothing to compare it to compared to other MakeToys releases, but this plastic doesn't feel the most sturdy, so to say. It doesn't give way. There's already a bunch of stress marks on my copy. So yeah, I don't dare manipulate it all too much. Again, I'm just showing off these things so you know what's in the box, but I keep mine in robot mode anyways, except for maybe God Bomber. It depends on if I'm building up the full God Ginrai or just keeping him as Super Ginrai, whether I use the God Bomber or not. Because, sorry, We'll have a look at God Bomber in a minute. Just quickly look at some of the details. It is a pretty cool trailer, don't get me wrong. It's just not completely doing what it's supposed to do. So yeah, right. And then, God Bomber, he is nicely done. Again with this detailing behind the translucent blue windows. It's awesome. And this guy actually tabs in and forms the best out of all of them. I have no issue with God Bomber, or with his parts, so to say. This is all fine. I like the way it looks. But of course, this is just a trailer that you pull apart to give Super Ginrai his final armor to become God Ginrai. But yeah, there we go. This is all you get in that box. And I got it for around $130 shipped. Which is not bad for this set. I'm happy it didn't cost me more, because then it would have bothered me more that that it's less than perfect. So, but enough on that. We will get into transformation quickly, so we can have a look at all these things. I'll first transform Ginrai, Optimus, whatever you want to call him. Now, to get him transformed, we need to pull Ginrai off, and there's two little levers here under his headlights. So what we do, there we go, and then it pops forward, and you can pull him out again. I'm going to leave him in his engine block mode, because eventually we'll need to put it back on there anyways. There we go. Right, now, this moves forward. There's a couple of hinges in there, and I think that's where the problem is, that I can't get it to sit flush. Like I said, I lubed it up and everything, but it's still not doing what I want it to do. But you pull this out, and you turn it round. Then the bumper slightly tilts. Yeah, for the rest of this, I don't know if I need to explain everything. I'm just gonna transform him, and you can enjoy the transformation. And there we go. There is our little Optimus. Pretty simple transformation. I wish it all worked smoother. It doesn't. You could still put Ginrai on his back, so to say. This still works. As for articulation, he's got a mushroom peg. Sorry, you can't see that, but he's got a mushroom peg in his shoulder, and he's got a butterfly joint for transformation. Then ball peg there in the biceps. Hinge at the elbow, which gives you 90 degrees. And as you saw in transformation, he has wrist swivel. It's got rotation at the waist. You'd need to put the wheels down to give him the full flex. And he doesn't have an ab crunch, but his legs go all the way up anyways, so you could use that. There's a cut at the leg. There's a hinge. There's no swivel there, but there's a, yeah, it's there. And pretty decent knee bend there. Then ankles are on hinges and the toes can rotate. So you get him in decent poses, so to say. Head sculpt, sorry. There we go. Some nice light blue for the eyes. Here's another point. Look at this ear. Can you see it? Sorry, I don't know if you can see it, but it's hard to focus on it, but there's a major stress mark there already. You can see the little white line next to my fingernail here. Major stress mark. And I don't know if that was from me trying to transform him and get this front section in place, or if it was like that out of the box. I only just noticed it at some point while trying to transform him properly. But yeah, that's not good, so to say. Let me just pull off one of these big guns off the trailer here, because on these big guns are actually little guns, which Prime can hold. There are these little weird little slots, rectangular slots, so it's not like you can give him any other weapons from other bots, so to say. But these fit just fine. And there's two of these weapons, one on each side, so to say. There we go. So far so good. This looks pretty cool, in my opinion. I don't mind keeping him like that. Let's get a few comparisons going, shall we? Get these bits out of the way again. There we go. Let's pull in some comparisons. So, here he is to core class Prime. You can see he's a little bit bigger, which works well, because if I bring in, oh boy, Runabout by Iron Factory, this is a nice scaling, I think. Sorry, let me stand him up completely straight for a proper comparison, of course, but bit off center there. There we go. This is a nice size Prime, at least for my collection. Now, let's get on with the show, shall we? Let's get these guys out of the way and bring in the trailer. There we go. That's the trailer. Still need to pull the other gun off. Just tabbed in there. Put it aside for a minute. We'll get these cannons off on both sides. There we go. And then we will get into transformation. All right, there we go. That is the trailer transformed. Obviously, you can see where Prime is going to go. I'm going to do that in a minute. Just wanted to show you this first. Again, don't know if you can see it well, but there's a major stress mark there just above my fingernail. So that's not good. And you can see that not everything is as easy to transform on this guy. He looks the part, definitely. But yeah, transformation could be a little bit smoother. But I think this figure is from 2017. So yeah, it has its pros and its cons, but it's a good figure for the character, at least. Just has a few issues. We still need to arm him up, but I wanted to show you his hands. The fingers are molded together. Sorry. You can see that? There you go. And there's a little slider on the inside of the hand. That's what these... Sorry. What the gun slides into. Again, a very unique system, which makes that he does hold his weapons well. When you can just fold the hands around it. But it means there's nothing interchangeable with other figures. Articulation wise, the head is on a ball joint. The arms are on a rotation and a hinge out. There's a cut at the biceps. The elbow is the part that is bothering me in truck mode, so that's not working properly. But you can still get a decent range of motion out of it. Hands can rotate. There we go. Has his waist swivel, also has his ab crunch. Hinged hips, and these flaps do move out of the way. There we go. Cut up there. Bend at the knee. But because he's quite bulky, things tend to get in the way. But you can technically get more than 90 degrees. But it just looks like a big chunk down there. Put this back into place. Sorry. There we go. And then the feet are on ankle tilts. And no, they don't have the back and forth here. But they are tilted. There we go. Just a quick comparison between this guy and his mini-me, so to say. There we go. That's how much bigger we're gonna get. Alright. Let me get him in his super Ginrai form completely by transforming the mini Ginrai as well. And I'll be back in a sec. Right, you kind of just get back to truck mode, but you leave these bits that were folded forward. You leave them on his legs, and his feet, instead of rotating them, you just tilt them up, because that creates, you can see there, a little indentation which will fold around here. That's what you use the double knee joint for. There we go. And then you just fold that round and tab that in. There we go. Now, there's a little cylinder here, and you can see there's a catch for it there. So what we're going to do is we are going to let them slide in there, pull them down. There we go. And then there's some knobs there and some indentations here to sit around the smokestacks. So what you do is, come on, fold it round and forward, make sure Ginrai is in there, and there we go. We have him slotted in. Now, we take the guns from the trailer. Hold on. Do it with the screws to the back. Sit that on his shoulders. Oh, doesn't matter, they're the same. And could also give him a second gun, but I'll leave that out of the equation for now. There we go. That is Super Ginrai. And he looks good. I like him. The top bit here doesn't tab in too secure, but because you have that cylinder and that catch, it's not going to release him or anything. So, pretty happy with this version. But we can get even bigger. Just for size comparison, let me pull in a figure that is of similar height. Just so you have an indication, so to say. Here is Power of the Primes Optimus Primal. And they are about the same height. So that's what we're talking about here. Sorry, not Optimus Primal, Optimal Optimus, of course. Primal is on his back. But yeah, that's the scale we're at now. I can also pull in Runabout again. So we're definitely in a different dimension here. But that still works for me. Because, of course, Super Ginrai is taller than Ginrai. Now, one more mode to go, actually, and that is, of course, God Ginrai mode. And for that, we need God Bomber. Now, I won't call it a transformation, because we're just gonna pull this guy apart. So let's do that, and then we can start arming up Super Ginrai. Here we go. Okay, lots of God Bomber pieces here. Sorry, I was trying to pull these apart, but because I was looking for a second blue bit, so to say, but this doesn't come apart. I was looking for these. So, yeah, there we go. As far as this goes, you can also store these things on here. the big guns, so to say. You can use it there in God Bomber mode. You can use it when we're powering up Super Ginrai, but just so you know. And there is, of course, this piece here, the cannon, which does articulate, be it pretty stiff, but it could. There is also a, sorry for the shakiness, a large sword in there, which pulls apart so you can slot it into his hand, which we'll do in a minute. First we'll attach all the other weapons. I hope I still remember all of them. Let me see. These we of course need to... How did they go? Because those stick out and these tab in, I think. I think they go like that. Just trying to do that now already before we start putting everything on the figure. Move to the inside and then like that. I think that was the way. Obviously this also folds around, so let's see if I remember all the bits and pieces, shall we? And get this guy into God mode. Alright, so I'm not being able to attach the back properly just in front of the camera. So let me just take him off camera, fix him up, clean him up, so to say, and get him back in front of the camera. Be back in a sec. Alright guys, back. Sorry, what was confusing me was I was sure that these little wings would tab in somewhere, but they don't. They just sit somewhere on the back. So, yeah, that was doing my head in. But there we go. The cannons, we can now attach them to the legs. There we go. The sword, like I said, we pull it apart. We open his big hands, which actually have a index finger that moves separately. Same system, so we slide it back in his hand. There we go. Now we're going to close the fist around it and attach the other little piece again. Sorry, I slid it down a little bit too far. Come on, close your fist. There you go. There we have his swords, and then we can still give him his one of his big guns in his other hand. Come on, big guy. And now you can leave the trigger finger out a little bit, so to say. And there we go. Obviously he has the same articulation as Super Ginrai, maybe even a little bit more limited now. But there we go. God Ginrai in full glory. And just like the other modes, it definitely looks the part for me, but it's got issues in transformation and everything. And that's a shame. Maybe they can bring out an updated version at some point that just feels a little bit more solid. Because I'm constantly afraid that I'll break stuff on him, which I don't want to. And the already visible stress marks obviously don't help. So yeah, not all of it is tabbed in that secure, but it holds, especially if you're just going to display him. He is fine. What I would love to get is the Takara Overlord from, which line was he? Power of the Primes? Titan's Return? Titan's Return, I think it was. Because he scales well with this guy. I don't have him yet, but he is on my wish list. And that will be awesome to have. But yeah, that is all I have to say and show on God Ginrai here. Very fun figure. Love how he looks. But has some issues in transformation and quality. Would still recommend him though. Alright. Thank you guys for sticking with me during this fairly long review. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know if you have him. There's also a Nemesis version of this guy. Obviously, well, I say obviously, but I think without the God armor, because that doesn't make sense on the Nemesis. But yeah, it's a cool figure. I like him. And he definitely fits my collection. And it's awesome that his core bot is just a little legend class Ginrai. Or Prime, if you will. Okay, thank you guys for watching. And I'll see you next time. Ape out.